pretty low weed competition at this time of year. You reckon? Sort of like quarantine paddock for a week at least. Well, look what happens when you're trying to film at the same time. I just missed a bit. Just... Good morning everyone, what is going on today? I'm just out feeding a few sheep this morning. What's the date today? I think it's about the 7th of July. Wet here, hang on. Yeah, it's the 7th of July and we're just sort of starting to feed a few mobs of stud ewes now. The lambs on it, I've talked about it in the previous video, but just to imprint the feeding on them makes it a bit easier, you know, in the future when we do have our next drought. That is coming. Some AI lambs. Good lamb, you, nice a ram, and mine. So you can see all their tails are falling off now. I don't know how long it was, when did we mark them? I can't remember now, but yeah, they've all well and truly fallen off. Looks like the scabs are gone too. There's some really good looking lambs in them. The odd one that's a bit woody, but you get that. Especially in our part of the world. This part of the year is the hardest time of year, so you can't expect them to be all looking pretty perfect, picture perfect this time of year. There's the odd lamb having a bit of a sniff and a chew. This is the first time I've fed this mob, so obviously taking a few goes to get used to it. Hey fellas. Alrighty, so I've actually got the seeder on the truck. We're just going to go and sow a paddock of pasture, Phalaris, cocksfoot and clover mix. So I've got the super and seed on here. It's only 10 hectares, and then Dad's sowing another 24 or 5 hectares up at Doughboy. I think this is a contract job, this one that I'm doing. He's got the disc seeder up there. Just waiting for him to get back to load him up with some more super and seed before I take this tractor. Hopefully it won't take too long, I'll get it done today. But yeah, he's sowing pasture too. We probably sow it usually a little bit earlier than this, but the idea being pretty low weed competition at this time of year, especially for the pastures because they're so slow at establishing. So if we get them out sort of out of the ground at this time of year, it just sort of sets them up ready for spring. So obviously the paddocks have just been sprayed and they're died off now, so there's no weeds there at the minute. So if we get this in and it gets up, it'll sort of have a bit of a head start, if that makes sense. Had a lot of good success of sowing pastures at this time of year. In fact, it's probably the only time we really ever sow pasture is now. It's been reasonably mild and it's not too wet either, which is what we had trouble with last year down on the one paddock that we tried to sow last year into pasture. It was just too wet, and that combined with the middle of winter being cold, it was just didn't come out of the ground. So hopefully we'll have a bit better success rate with this. Oh no, I know we will. It's a fair bit different year this year than last year. Last year was definitely out of the ordinary, so you reckon? Hmm? So we're getting through it now, we're into it. We've done about 4 hectares. It's going in pretty nicely. As you can see, there's hardly any trash on the ground at all. So we're not dealing with that. There's a row of pine trees just here, you might be able to see. I battled with the pine needles on the ground along the fence line there, but that was only two or three laps, so we're out of that now and into it. No, we're not. We're only just scratching it in really with pasture seed, because it's Phalaris, cocksfoot and clover in this mix. And if you don't know, Phalaris and cocksfoot seed is tiny. It's really small. It's a lot smaller than ryegrass seed, and that's small enough. Yeah, they reckon you can leave 10% uncovered of pasture seed, and if there's a bit of rain coming tomorrow, it'll just wash it in nicely. But I said earlier this morning that it was probably going in a bit later than usual. We usually sort of May, June is when we sow pasture, and that's just, you sort of wait for the first frost, and then then you spray it, and then that kills all the growing weeds, and then you generally get a pretty good kill on that, you know, and the pasture will get up and away from it, sort of thing. And that's sort of the main reason we probably sold it this time of year, because the pastures they're perennials. They're a fair bit slower sort of growing than your annuals, like, you know, cereals like oats and barley. You want as least slow of a weed competition as you can, and I don't know, just Dad's sown plenty of pastures in his life, and I don't know, I guess he finds that this seems to work really well in our area, at least. Not saying it's for everywhere, but we've had a lot of success with it. So I got a phone call earlier on, and we've got some new arrivals turning up to the place that Dan and I share farm this afternoon. Bought them at the local sale, 14 heifers. So Dan's going to bring them out after he knocks off work this afternoon, and we'll give them a drench, a multi-min and a 6-in-1 or 5-in-1, just sort of standard, and then put them in a bit of a sort of like quarantine paddock for a week at least, just away from the other cattle that are down there, just in case you don't know where they come from, or especially going through sort of, what would you call it, high traffic areas like sale yards. You just don't know what they could have picked up. Keep them separate for a week or two. I think they're pretty small, which is alright. Depending on sort of how they are and if they're any good, we'll probably keep a few of them, take the tops out of them and keep a few of them, and then, you know, obviously grow out the other ones, but sell them probably after Christmas or something, just depending on, there's plenty of feed down there, so they should grow alright.
Watching the grass grow, channel 2, channel 3, back to channel 2. I watched everything in my queue, so put me on a train, I don't care where it's going. Fly me on a plane, maybe out to Wyoming. Need an RV, no plans, just you and me. I need to go somewhere. Still watching the rain, kids driving me insane. Another Groundhog Day routine, stuck in my head, existential dread.
Well, look what happens when you're trying to film at the same time. I just missed a bit. I'm just going back to, there it is, just there. Just going back to redo it. Can't have that. What I was trying to show you was we got Carly Dog in with us as well. Girls, what are you doing?
Somewhere.
Yeah, there we go, job done. About 9 hectares I ended up getting, so that's a good job done. Another one out of the road. What do you reckon, dog? Morning, girls. What's happening? Well, it's the next morning now, and as you can see, the heifers have arrived. They arrived last night, and we gave them a multi-min 5-in-1 and a drench. So they're alright. They are small, I'd say. Apparently the story was the fella that owned them just had too many and had to get rid of some. So opportunity for us at least. But no, I think, I'm not sure if they've just been weaned or not. I don't know. They weren't overly noisy in the yards last night, so I think they have been weaned. And they're nice and quiet too, which is the best part. I got Maggie and Carly in the ute this morning. It's been very, very windy, so I thought it was a bit cruel putting them on the back. But there they are, 14 of them. So they're just in this little holding paddock around the yards here, probably a week or 10 days, just sort of a quarantine period, and then probably grab the heifers out of the other mob and put them with them, and yeah, split them off, because those calves are due to be weaned as well. We'll see how they grow out. We'll probably have to pick, be a couple in them I saw that will sell, and then, you know, if they turn out alright, we'll probably breed from them. So nice little herd to start off with. A herd? Mob? Herd? I think it's a herd. I just come down to there's not a dam in this paddock, there's only a trough, so I just come down, I got some fuel. I'm going to pump some water up to the tank and make sure it's nice and full for them, so they don't run out of water. So that would be a catastrophe, wouldn't it, Carls? Hey? Yeah, it's not too bad down here. It's nice and sheltered. That hill sort of stops a lot of the wind. So, but yeah, it's a terrible day at home. It's going to be a bad day for footy. It's Saturday today, so. Come on. She's seen. There's nothing there. What are you looking at? What are you looking at? There's nothing here. Maybe she's looking at the... Oh, I don't know. You're a fool. You right there? Being all majestic. Anyway guys, I might leave that one there. I'm just about to head over to footy. I reckon I'd need to get blown over there if I stood here long enough. But hope you enjoyed that one, and Carly. And with that, we'll catch you next one. Alrighty, see ya, bye.